two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top three teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number one, do they fix their defensive problems? And two, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
What do you say? A little game time decisions right here on SportsGrid on this Monday night. Kevin Walsh with you next 2 hours. We set it up and we knock it down. Plenty to get to. The college basketball board features my two national championship futures, the Duke Blue Devils, and of course, good old Houston Cougars. So we've got some action to break down the college basketball board tonight. Really center stage style. We had some huge games over the weekend. We had some market movement around the Player of the Year race as well. Very excited to get into all of those doings. We will get over to your NBA board tonight. Not a huge slate in terms of marquee matchups, but three sides stood out to me, so we will get into those in just a little bit in our show. Also, we have to talk just a couple of big picture items. And we hit these throughout, and I feel they are still true. Cavs movement, not enough. Lakers movement, not enough. We'll expand on all of that, as well as the latest around the National Football League. Matt Stafford officially back with the Rams. What does that mean for the Giants? What does that mean for the Raiders? What does it mean for Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Sam Darnold? A lot of that gets put up into the air. Some relevant NFL news today. Darius Slay, released by the Philadelphia Eagles, as well as T. Higgins, franchise tagged by the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll talk to Adam Kaplan in just a little bit here on our show tonight and get his thoughts around all of the stuff. He was out in Indianapolis for the NFL Draft Combine, so it'll be great to talk to Cap. We'll do some NHL breakdowns with Joe Madden, Tom Vecchio, as well. Coach James Young will be here later on in our show this evening. But let's get into the college board. We'll start with the picks for the people, and then we'll zoom out. Duke, Wake, I'll take the 20.5 tonight with the Demon Deacons. Look, the Duke Blue Devils have been rolling. My goodness. I mean, this team is not just winning. I get it. The ACC is bad. They are destroying their opponents. They lost to Clemson. And you probably figure, oh, man, they're going to be teed off, right? They're going to be hot. Well, they beat Cal by 21. Actually wasn't a cover. And since then, they've won by 36, 18, a billion against Illinois, 37, and 35 I do think that 20.5 against Wake, though, could be a tick too tall, as Duke tonight will still be without Tyrese Proctor. And I think Wake Forest defensively has the chance to keep this game inside the box a little bit here. I don't think the same was true against the Florida States, the Miamis. Those teams really can't defend, I think, as well as Wake Forest could potentially in this matchup, and hopefully slow this game down a little bit. So I'm going to take the 20.5. We'll talk Cooper Flag in just a moment here, but the second game, likely the better game, or at least the more anticipated game, that's Houston, that's Kansas. Give me the under at 132.5. This is a classic Cougars shutdown spot. The Jayhawks hosted Houston earlier this season. Rocket ship, doubled overtime, zillion points. Pre-game total, 127.5. We're 5 points higher as we get into this game, despite the matchup here of two top 8 defenses. I think Kansas tonight defensively will be looking to lock in, make life a little bit harder on Houston. I think this total may be a little inflated with Houston's game against Cincinnati soaring through that pregame total of 125.5. I understand that the Jayhawks are better offensively than Cincinnati, but they are better defensively than the Bearcats as well. I think this total's moved a little bit too much, so we're going to play the under at 132.5, and I'll stick on Houston for just a moment because I still don't understand the title price not moving more. It is, in fact, moving back. It just doesn't make sense. It does not add up. I'll take it. Again, they are free bet city. They are preseason 9-1 to win the national championship. I understand Auburn and Duke are very, very good. You can feel that they are decidedly better. But Houston is being held back as Florida rolled A&M? Tennessee beat Bama? The 1 seeds are becoming clear, man. And Houston will be one of them. You can tell. And I know it's never a guarantee that you're going to end up with an easy path. Things happen. But Houston has lost 4 games once in regulation. It was to Auburn in the second game of the season. I feel like Houston's been answering the bell, have they not? A 4-game run of at Arizona State, home against Iowa State, at Texas Tech, 4-0. They're 17-1 in Big 12 play. They are going to be a 1 seed. Whose bracket has them outside of the 1 line? And how could you possibly explain it? If you have them outside of the 1 line right now, you think we're going to go 3 SEC teams over Houston? I don't see it. I just don't. And that, to me, indicates that there is still value on Houston, and that's just where we are. Now, Houston has ended up becoming a situation where I'm more in on them than my preseason Duke pick because I've been able to add free bet after free bet on Houston, and that, increases the pot a little bit. The Duke numbers have moved a lot more, understandably so. One Duke number, though, that moved recently, which is maybe surprising, maybe not. I think a little bit, but it's the Wooden Award. We've been tracking the Wooden Award movement since last week because this was preseason Coopers to lose. Then it was Janai Broom because of how incredible Auburn was. Then Janai Broom got injured. Missed 2 games. Flag started to extend and run. But then we saw Janai Broom just stay on it, right? And he had that 2-game run that he was really filling up the stat sheet. 31-14 against Georgia. 24-9 against Ole Miss. The 2 games prior, 16-13 against Arkansas, and then the 19-14-6 performance against Bama on the road put him back to the favorite. And then Janai Broom scored single digits against Kentucky on 3 of 9 shooting, and it appears odds makers, bettors, none too impressed. Cooper Flag pick now over on FanDuel. DraftKings has Cooper Flag actually at a -140 price, jumping right back in front here. Now, Cooper Flag let me down this weekend, but not really his fault. Points, rebounds, and assists, 32.5, I want to say. Could have been 34.5. I didn't get there. That's because he left in the first half and only played 20 minutes of basketball, but still had 16, 6, and 4. And I feel now stronger. Now, the value's gone. You could have clipped some 2-to-1 Cooper Flag numbers, and you probably wish you did. But at least the market reacting like this off of just Janai Broome not playing well, if Auburn loses again, which is inarguably more likely than Duke losing again, Cooper Flag is going to end up winning the Wooden Award. We'll see how he looks to tack it on. I will say, though, that is a two-way street. If Janai Broome does not lose another game, if they win at A&M, home against Alabama to close out the regular season, Broome is still back in the mix. The value in this market is if either guy is 2-to-1. That's how it feels to me. Right now, Cooper Flag back in front. Tonight's card, Wake Forest plus 20.5. Houston and Kansas under 132.5. We go to the NBA next.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. Put it into a bend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're live with you right here on SportsGrid on this Monday night. We've gone through the college card. Let's hit the NBA card. I like what we're being offered up tonight here. You know, maybe famous last words, but there's a couple of good spots, I think, on the Monday card. It starts with Charlotte and Golden State. I'll take the 13 with the Hornets. Maybe I'm nuts here. Let me make sure I have the updated numbers. It looks like there are some, maybe a 13.5 out there, some 12.5s out there. You always want to get the best of the number. If it is available to you, I think this has gone a little far. And Charlotte was a team who I considered betting a few times during their poor run. Never pulled the trigger. Did have a LaMelo Ball prop bet that didn't come in, and that was tied to them being Charlotte getting absolutely rolled in the basketball game. But I was able to time it right by betting the plus, 9.5, I think, that night against Dallas. They covered the game. Lost, covered the game. And what happened for Charlotte was they get back home, lay 3.5 to the Wizards, and get rolled up. They get rolled up. Again, they lose the game by double digits. It's a Washington Wizards team. Come on. And now the books have fallen even further. Charlotte just played Golden State on the road. Caught 17.5, right? Now, you might think, if NBA home court's worth 2, no problem on the number. LaMelo Ball didn't play in that basketball game. So I think that we're seeing this a little too far here. This is a Golden State team who, you look at their last 2 on the road. Okay, so they lay 4.5 out Orlando, down a ton at the break. Steph scores 56. They cover this by 1.5. They then go to Philly, train wreck, lay 6.5, lose the game outright. I like Charlotte to hang, relatively speaking, catching 13 points tonight against Golden State. Speaking of Philadelphia, I like the Sixers. I might have got a bad number here. I mean, I did, all things considered. I laid 2.5. It's down to 1.5. You can play this money line. Let's hope this doesn't land Philly outright by 2. If you play it money line, though, again, good for you. I understand Portland's playing much basketball. Trust me, I do. But we have seen all season in NBA betting the tax that you have to pay if you have a rest advantage. Portland didn't only play yesterday, they played an overtime grinder against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now they go to Philadelphia. I'm expecting Maxey and NPG even in the lineup. As long as I have Maxey, I'm happy, because Maxey's in an unbelievable bounce-back spot. Despite the Sixers' victory against Golden State, he was 2 for 14. Scored 5 points. They still won the basketball game. Paul George is locking in. No more podcasts. Conversation for another time, I think. Maybe we'll get into it, but just, I'll lay the points here with Philadelphia. I think it's a very good spot, and I also think it feels like the first good number on the Sixers, right? You know, they were laying double digits to Brooklyn, catching under double digits to Boston, laying double digits to Chicago, right? It felt like, I think you got a good number here tonight on Philly in a really, really good spot. And then another NBA side. This is a stunner for me. I'll take the point. I'll take the 2 points, in fact, at home with the Dallas Mavericks. This number up to 2.5 in some spots. So, again, clip the best of the number. Do the books, or the bettors, probably the better way to put it, unaware of the value of a Domantas Sabonis? Sabonis is averaging 20, 14, and 6 on the year and is out for this basketball game. In the 3 games that he has missed, the Kings have not covered one of them, lost 2 out of 3, and they were all at home, all booked as favorites. Now, if you want to say, because he got injured almost immediately into the game against Houston, and they ended up actually winning that game outright by 10, hey, there's reason to be more optimistic. I would say you're paying for all of that optimism. I do not think the Kings should be favored in Dallas without their best player. Because make no mistake about it, Domantas Sabonis is their best player. I know Dallas is banged up. I know the whole front court's still out. That doesn't hurt as much when Sabo's not out there. I'll take the 2 with the Mavericks. They win this basketball game tonight, actually, against Sacramento. I really do. This is a number that basically the healthy Bucks were basically laying in Dallas. Very close, too. So I'm surprised. I don't think Sabonis is getting enough respect tonight, despite being out in that basketball game. Other noteworthy games tonight, Miami on a back-to-back, laying 7.5 to Washington. Memphis laying 8.5 at home to Atlanta. They could use a win. They've been struggling lately. Big time total. That one's 251.5. Pistons laying $1 billion to Utah. Look for a great Cade Cunningham game tonight. He has now gone 3 straight games, sub 25. That is the first time in a long time that's happened for Cade. The double-digit dimes is on the board. His 14-1 triple-double is not a bad look if you want to get in the mix. And then OKC Houston, I was going to get involved with this game. I was going to play under. I saw a peak of the market, 229.5. I didn't play it. By the time I got back around, we dropped. I backed off. I really want to see how this plays out tonight because Oklahoma City has been basically the biggest over team in the league post-break. On average, 6 games since the All-Star break, 255 points per game in OKC games since the break. 255. OKC has the best offensive rating one could possibly dream of in that stretch. It is also met with a bottom 8 defensive rating. OKC's calling card this season is how incredible their defense has been. Maybe it's a little bit of a lull. They're having fun. They're winning with offense. It could be situational, playing Minnesota without Rudy Gobert, a team up and down like Atlanta. It's possible, right? San Antonio, obviously, no Wemby. Houston, to me, is going to be the bar of how these OKC games probably look until further notice. Leaned under, backed off it. Definitely something to watch, though, on tonight's slate. We'll be right back for some Sports Million Pick'em next.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Monday night here on SportsGrid. A lot of options for us to get involved with. Let's hear about some of those options over on Sports Million Pick'em.
Happy Monday, everyone, and happy March. We're rolling into March Madness here, and it's time for our Sports Millions Pick'ems. Now, lots of action out there on the hardwood tonight. Tom, where are you going to go for your Sports Millions Pick'ems?
Yeah, let's start off the week with a Big Ten matchup. Let's go to Northwestern versus UCLA. I have two players, taking them both to the lower. This gives us a 3x multiplier. So let's start with Ty Berry, lower than 13.5 points. He's been lower this mark in 5 out of his last 10 games. And I'm going to be looking to the other side with Kobe Johnson, lower than 7.5 points. Now, both lower. I understand that. Kobe Johnson often gets into foul trouble, prevents him from being out on the court. Most importantly for this game, it's about the game environment overall. Both players barely getting to these marks. Both teams are top 43 in KenPom defensive rating, and both of these teams play so slow. Northwestern is 241 in the country in pace. UCLA is sitting at 295. So players are barely consistent getting to these marks. So I want to take them both to lower based on the game environment, based on the defensive matchups that we have. And again, it is late season. These teams aren't going to be getting out and running. These teams are fighting for positioning when it comes to the conference tournament upcoming. Both players to lower, giving us a 3x multiplier.
Okay, I like where you're going there, and I'm going to turn to the matchup here between Wake Forest and Duke. Now, the last time these teams matched up, we did see that defense really come to play with a total of only 119 points, and Duke getting that 63-56 win. Looking at this matchup today, while I can see it being a lower scoring one, I am looking for a couple of players that I do think need to get their points on the board because someone has to get them done. Now, when we're looking at Wake Forest, Hunter Cialis has to come out so strong in this game. He was the only one to have success in the last time of facing Duke, and I do think in this matchup, if there's any chance here of Wake Forest getting some sort of an upset, Hunter Cialis has to go higher than 16.5 points. Now, he has been on fire as of late. He's reached 20 or more points in 4 of his last 6 games. He only put up 12 points in that game versus Duke the last time out, but he shot 5 of 11. So he had that ability to get those shots on the board, and I do think he will get those shots again, and hoping for him to hit at a higher percentage out there. And then when we look here at Duke, I know a lot of people will want to circle Cooper Flagg, but I do think his numbers are just too high. Looking at Con Knipple here, he will come in nicely in this game. The last time versus Wake Forest, he was able to put up 15 points. He had 8 rebounds and 3 assists in that game. He is averaging 13.5 points per game on the season. He's hitting 45.9% of his shots from the floor and 39.3% from deep. Now, that last time versus Wake Forest has an elite defense on the perimeter, but he was able to sink those balls from 3. I'm looking for Con Knipple to be able to do that again. So I will take him here higher than 14.5 points. When you put Con Knipple higher than 14.5 points, Hunter Cialis higher than 16.5 points, you're getting a 3-time multiplier here on Sports Millions, Toms.
We have a lot of college basketball coming up throughout the week. We'll put NBA and NHL on hold for now as we are a very important time right before March Madness.
Absolutely. The best month in basketball, you guys. So make sure you join us daily here for your Sports Million Pick'ems.
All right, we're back with you right here. Great stuff there from both Tom and Joe, who we will be talking to later tonight on Game Time Decisions. Quickly, let's hear about some of the other options that you can find on Sports Million Pick'em.
Check out Sports Million's social casino featuring classic slots and brand new game concepts. The social casino features the opportunity to win large sweepstake coins, and the games are always free to enter. Go play now at sportsmillions.com/social-casino. That's sportsmillions.com/social-casino.
Right back here, and let me just tell you this, folks. It is March 3rd. A lot of chatter around 3-3 day. Who could hit some threes? Something to consider. I'll tell you one guy that I am considering tonight. It's Max Christie. Max Christie takes the floor. No P.J. Washington. We've seen that get him to around, on average, more than 14 points per game. Right now, Sports Million, higher, lower, 12.5. 3.5 higher, lower assists as well. I think that's a number he could get through. As we mentioned as well, late night Detroit and Utah. Cade Cunningham, don't be surprised if it's a higher night for Cade going up against the Jazz in a nice bounce back spot. Quick break or Game Time Decisions next.
guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready?
We're here. We're in the mix. What do you say? Little Monday night. Kevin Walsh bringing you the hockey talk that you want. With the help of Tom Vecchio. Can't do it on my own. Tom, I'll ask you this quickly. It's okay if no. Are you betting anything in that Caps-Senators game with the odd 6:30 start time?
I am not. There's just not good lines. I talked about it this morning with Ben and Donnie. Like, the Ovechkin goal prices that we're getting remind me of the prices that we were getting on Aaron Judge's home runs when he was approaching history a couple years ago, where, like, the line's just not good. Right? Like, seeing, like, plus 105 for an Ovechkin goal is not a good spot. It should be plus 130-ish, and I just assume that the books are putting it there just because there's more and more attention.
Yeah, I mean, what else are, you kind of expecting, right, from a more casual NHL better? Look, Ovi's going to get this record. You're still getting a plus price. We'll just kind of keep chasing it. I want to pivot from that to the Rangers for a second. I got a real beef with this team, and it is probably a very unique one.
I know what you're going to say.
Do you?
You're going to talk about Shesterkin's shutouts, your season-long bet with him.
I don't understand it because, listen, I admit it, I'm not following night-to-night Ranger hockey. So I pull up the game, and if they beat the team and their opponent scored 0, I go, oh my gosh, awesome. Every time, it's Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick, in less than half the starts, has the same amount of shutouts as Igor, and I can't figure that out for the life of me, Tom.
I would like to know the same thing. Granted, last night was a very unique circumstance, given the fact that the Preds are terrible. They were sitting players. One of their best players, Roman Josi, their top defender, they put on IR. They're trading away players. So the Preds aren't good. I would say most competent goalies and competent defenses should have been able to hold them to 1 or no goals. We just ran into like the perfect scenario where it happened to be Quick, and it's solely because the Rangers are playing the Isles tonight. That's why Shesterkin is in net tonight and not last night.
Yeah, somehow, again, there's only 18 goalies this year with 3 or more shutouts. I don't know. Igor and Quick, same amount. That's very annoying. You're involved with that game tonight, though, Tom. So tell me a little bit about how you want to approach a little New York, New York.
Yeah, let's just get some goals on the board. So I like over 5.5. It was minus 115. I saw it up at minus 130. I think that's a totally fine spot. Over the last 10 meetings between these two teams, when the rosters are largely the same, we've seen 6 goals in 8 out of those 10 games. The Rangers have put their top defender, Adam Fox, on IR. They made trades over the past few days. They are sitting out one of their starters, Riley Smith, tonight. They have brought up 2 of their young players, Brett Berard and Brennan Ottman. And it's that time of year where players are in and out of lineups because of, just keeping them healthy before the trade deadline on Friday. We're going to see some goals tonight. I also like Bo Horvat on the Islanders, their top line center, over 2.5 shots on goal. A little bit juicy at minus 140, but he has at least 2 shots on goal in 8 out of his last, or he's been over this mark in 8 out of his last 9 games. The one game he wasn't over, he had 2 shots. And the Rangers, since the start of February, they're in the bottom 10 of the league for the most shot attempts allowed, and the Isles on the other side in the top 10 of the league. So the Isles are fighting for a player position just along with the Rangers, and we're going to see that moving back and forth tonight. I also think the Isles win. They're not on a back-to-back like the Rangers are, and I think the Isles punch back after the Rangers kind of smoked them a couple days ago.
All right, so we got a little bit of action there on the NHL slate. Joe Mann will join us in a little bit as well to go through some of the other options that we have on this Monday night. But tell me, Tom, because we don't have you all night long. Last week, you and I, we were talking some NFL quarterback movement. Stafford makes the decision to stay in L.A., which, okay, that's the move. Everybody feels like that's a great move. Again, let's pretend he's going to win a Super Bowl with the Rams. That's fun. Great. And then we're like, oh, all right, you know what? Fine, I will be angry because I get angry quickly. Because then, Tom, I had heard, well, this is great because now the Giants and Raiders both won't make terrible decisions. Well, the Giants' pivot is apparently bringing in the most toxic player in the league, and the Raiders' pivot is paying Sam Darnold $45 million. I'm just curious, now that the dust has settled on that situation, do you feel like we have a big winners and losers pile?
I've seen this Rodgers news and seemed like, he's the betting favorite to land with the Giants. The only scenario where this would actually come out okay with the Giants is if they sign him and then also draft a quarterback. Like, Rodgers is not going to stay there. Like, what is the opportunity cost of, getting the fan base on your side for a couple seasons and then just so they can have a shot at the playoffs, or actually drafting a quarterback that you can then build around for years and years to come? So if they sign Rodgers, they also have to draft a quarterback. And the thought is going to be, they're going to just sign Rodgers and they're going to do whatever in the draft. And that is not a solution. You need a quarterback. And Rodgers is not going to be there for more than 2 years, 3. So that's a terrible decision if they just sign him. And then Darnold, as we've talked about, being paid way too much by somebody, or will be paid way too much by somebody. If it's the Raiders, you don't have to spend $40 million on a quarterback. You should just go draft one of them in the draft, move up, do something else besides spending an absorbent amount of money.
Yeah, I think – I don't know if I like the Rodgers plus Cam Ward thing for the Giants. I don't know.
That makes it acceptable. But that's like the baseline acceptability. Like, if they just sign him and then pass on quarterback, that is terrible. The minimum requirement is to sign him and then draft a quarterback so you're set for the future. Like, that is the bare minimum.
But my thing is, it seems as if they are assuredly going to draft that quarterback. I don't know. Why the Rodgers facade? What grace has Rodgers earned of, we love to bring Rodgers in and – like, Cam Ward is going to pick on Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's it. It feels like that relationship will go. I just draft the quarterback. And if the quarterback's not ready to start day number 1, then let Cutlets run around. I don't care. Well, I don't understand why it needs to be Rodgers and then Devontae Adams and that whole show. I don't think I'm not there. And I'm certainly not there with the Raiders paying Sam Darnold $45 million.
I'm not there with basically anything. Like, the Giants should have gotten rid of Dable and their GM, whatever his name is escaping. They should have just cleaned house. Shane, right? They should have just cleaned house completely. New coach, new GM, draft quarterback, and you're at least set. You're at least taking steps forward. Right, that would be the ideal circumstance for the Giants. They completely botched that because they didn't get rid of the coach and GM, and now they're, what are we going to do with the quarterback? But if you had a fresh start, you would just draft the quarterback, and Rodgers wouldn't even be in the conversation. That would be at least ideal for the Giants, a team that has been in franchise has been terrible. The Raiders paying Sam Darnold is the wrong decision to do. We all agree with this. I heard some rumor today, Rich Eisen was talking about it, that the Vikings may be looking to bring back Sam Darnold for multiple years, which I'm not sure what to make of that as well, because what are you going to do with McCarthy all those seasons? You're just going to let him sit there and not play?
Well, this is the thing with McCarthy. And again, I remember there was a point in the draft season where someone was pretending that J.J. McCarthy's trade value was multiple future firsts. It's not. J.J. McCarthy was someone that people were a little bit surprised where he was going in the draft cycle and then blew his knee out and hasn't played it down of NFL football. So I think if you're the Minnesota Vikings, who just had a very successful season, and you're worried about, we don't want to rush J.J. back. If you can bring back Darnold, if you can afford to bring back Darnold, if you're Darnold, I'd rather go to Minnesota. Because here's the thing. If he does it again, even if it doesn't result in big postseason success, people that might go, okay, he's an NFL caliber starter definitively, right? And we can bring this guy in and we can work with that. So, for Darnold, at this point, sure. But again, at what number? Why am I paying Sam Darnold $40 million? That's ridiculous. That's foolish.
I mean, from a team perspective, it's terrible. Darnold take as much money as you can get, like credit to his agent if he's able to get a contract to someone to pay him $40 million. We've seen that before. Like Daniel Jones got the money. Everyone knew that was a horrible contract the second Daniel Jones signed that.
I'll tell you,
Everyone knew that.
Not all the Giants fans that I was hearing from.
Delusional fans at that point. Everyone that knew anything about football knew that was a horrible contract, and Daniel Jones should never been paid that. Teams make terrible decisions. And if someone pays Sam Darnold $40 million, congrats to him, but it's a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, I was very critical of the Daniel Jones deal, and there were people calling the most unbiased man in the history of sports media bias on the topic. Could you believe that, Tom? I know. No. It blew my mind as well. Tom Vecchio, excellent stuff as always. We'll be right back on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top three teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they've lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number one, do they fix their defensive problems? And two, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, back to the right here. And again, we are on SportsGrid. Paul George is out tonight. That has actually shifted Portland to a favorite. Look, I'm annoyed at myself that I didn't have the patience to wait for the best of the number, because it was 3 at one point and it went down to 2.5. I said, let me take it now. Maybe if the injury news goes my way, this will go up to 3.5, 4. 1, it didn't go my way, and 2, it didn't look like the books were all too concerned, I actually still like the Sixers in the spot. I really do. I'm annoyed at myself that I'm not sitting on a plus 1.5 or an even money on the money line. It is what it is right now. But that's where the NBA card is. One of three sides that I'm on tonight is Philly minus 2.5, Charlotte catching 13, and then the Mavericks plus 2. We'll reset all of that. We'll reset the college card for you in just a minute. But I do want to pick up on some of the NFL doings from this past weekend. And one market that I'm really pleased with, and I feel like as a show, we've done a nice job kind of covering from the jump, and I give the team a lot of credit, is the team to draft first overall market, which is rare. I don't remember seeing this in years past. I've been following draft markets, here with SportsGrid for a while now. I appreciate when you get an ambitious market. The fact that they were willing to post this was odd to me, though. We've heard it from, we hear from when we talk to our guy Kinsig a lot. These books sometimes don't love having to book the draft. It's probably a losing proposition. It's also heavily information-based. And this market, no different. And we've seen the movement. The Tennessee Titans were, I think, the highest for us on our show here, minus 300. And now under minus 200. With the Giants as this clear front runner to trade up for the pick at plus 110. Now, I don't know if they took bets on the favorite and that worked their way. I know that I have seen that number move on the Giants as there's been more and more and more reporting around that number. What I would honestly say is if you keep your notifications on, maybe you get lucky. Because I feel as if the Titans are going to trade this pick, it will be dealt before the draft, right? So if you're lucky, okay, and that pick is dealt, maybe you can run, boom, and click the number, okay? I'm not laying minus 175 with Tennessee, and I don't know at this point if you really want to do a plus 110 with the Giants. If you wanted a long shot, it's probably Cleveland to draft first overall. We have heard reporting the Browns are interested in Cam Ward. Tennessee, some believe that they are Abdul Carter first. Some think that they're in on Travis Hunter. I think the Titans, if they go back to third, will just take whichever one falls to them, because I think the expectation is the Browns, if Cam Ward is not there, will pivot off the quarterback position. I think that's the expectation. But if Tennessee is enamored with the edge rushing talent that is Abdul Carter, or the one-of-one talent that is Travis Hunter, then they'll try and get the deal done with Cleveland. It does feel as if Cam Ward's minus 200 number to be the first overall pick, it actually does feel like there is some meat on the bone there. If you notice in the market, and I said that if the Giants trade up, I said this earlier last week, don't bet Abdul, don't bet Travis Hunter. If it's the Giants, it's going to be Ward or Shador. But those Sanders-Giants rumors have really, really quieted down. And it feels as if one of the big takeaways, and we'll talk to Adam Kaplan about this shortly, but one of the big takeaways from the draft combine is actually the separation from Cam Ward and every quarterback in this class. Shador Sanders, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck of Louisville, Jalen Milroe, Alabama, whatever it might be, there's a big separation there. And again, if you are someone who bets NFL drafts, you'll know betting minus 200 of who's going to go first overall is not a bad move if you've got the guy right. This will close minus 1,000. This will move massively if a deal is done. If we see the Giants or the Browns come up to first overall, that'll be seen as confirmation it's quarterback. And every expectation is anyone trading up is trading for Cam Ward. So do keep that in mind. We also, by the way, want to just quickly look at the numbers for team to draft Travis Hunter. And it's a very interesting market for Travis. The Giants are the favorite along with the New England Patriots at plus 275. Browns plus 450. Tennessee 5-1. Now, I do not think there are any, it is on the board, it goes anywhere beyond that. Because we're not hearing what I thought we may hear from Travis, which is a hard line, don't draft me if you won't let me play both sides of the football. The Travis Hunter Ohtani stuff I know came up this week. Travis is right, and we'll leave it at that for now. For now, we'll leave it at that. But the Giants being the favorite would only be the case if they're going to sit, right, at 3. But here's the thing. In what world are the Giants at 3, right? They couldn't successfully trade up for 1, not still looking to draft a quarterback. Are they going to pivot? Oh, we'll do it in round 2, round 3. That becomes very odd to me. But it feels like the Patriots would be that stop point. If the Jaguars, who have the same odds as Tennessee, are on the board, that I think would be considered a slide for Travis Hunter at that point. And you would think Jacksonville would stop that slide. So eventually when we see draft menus expand, you'll see odds to be a top 5 pick minus 3,000 Travis Hunter. That's kind of what you're going to get from the market, and that is hard to disagree with. I think it's very interesting to see what the draft position props will look like. We'll talk more NFL with Adam Kaplan in a little bit. We'll reset tonight's card with you right here on Game Time Decisions.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The next versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back with you right here on Game Time Decisions. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NHL slate in just a little bit. We'll have Joe Madden stop by, get her take on some of even the live action. And we have live action already, which is the game between the Caps and the Senators. 2-0 early for Washington. But no goal for Ovechkin yet. So all stuff that we can keep an eye on. We have the college basketball board tonight featuring number 2 and number 3, Duke and Houston. We got our new AP poll today? Unanimous Auburn. Makes sense. Kentucky drops some. Makes sense. Jackson Robinson done for the year. Hurts that ball club, no doubt. No doubt. Louisville, a big riser, up 5 spots. A&M crashed down, rightfully so, got rolled up by Florida. Really, really nice win for the Gators. Like, Bam at 7 feels wrong. But again, like, you can't go off the AP poll as much as kind of the brackets and things like that. The AP poll's week to week, so it's a little more overreactionary, if you will. But we did get a new AP poll. I'm taking the 20.5 with Wake tonight. We'll see. I'm look, you can tell it's not my favorite bet I've ever placed. That's just, I should be betting this flag, points, rebounds, and assists. I just don't want to lose again. And that's bad of me. But I just don't want to. And the matchup's not as good. The Florida State matchup was perfect. Again, he went out there and only played 20 minutes and had 26 PRA. If he would have played another 10 minutes probably. If you extrapolate that another 10 minutes, that means probably would have finished on pace for 39 PRA. I hopefully didn't just embarrass myself and do that correctly. I don't mind a flag play, but I'm still annoyed over the weekend loss. It was a tough weekend of college hoops for me, some of the betting. You have this Pittsburgh catching 10.5. First time that they're not covering was the last 3 seconds of the game. How do you figure that? That's how it goes sometimes. Hopefully Wake covers throughout this entire game tonight. I think there's a good chance they will. I do. I like this spot tonight for Wake Forest. Duke's been rolling. Wake's a different matchup. Duke's been getting out, playing some really bad defenses recently. Florida State, Miami. Illinois super fast, so it allowed Duke to go up and down. They loved it, right? What about Virginia? Virginia's terrible. I laid the 13.5 that night with Duke. Virginia's better offensively than they are defensively. It's not the same Virginia team. On the under in the Houston-Kansas game, 2 top 8 defenses going head-to-head here. Total's 5 points higher than that first meeting. I think it's juiced up a little bit because of the 2 games that these teams played over the weekend. Kansas's defense could not stop Texas Tech, and Houston played, a bang over on a total that was around 124.5, 125.5 throughout the day. Game featured 137 points. So I like the under in that 132.5 there as those 2 teams will square off. NBA-wise tonight, Hornets catching 13. They were catching 17.5 at Golden State in a game where LaMelo Ball was out. Home with LaMelo in, I think 13's a tick too many. I laid 2.5 with Philadelphia. No Paul George in the game. The Sixers are such a mess, man. I'll probably get annoyed at myself for doing that. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's like the first time I feel as if all season, you're not seeing the tax for a team being on a back-to-back. It looks like that number has cost teams about 4 points. And like Portland would not be laying 5 in Philly if they weren't playing yesterday. And it was an overtime game. And then late night, no Sabonis, and Sacramento is still a favorite on the road against Dallas. I disagree. They haven't covered without Sabonis this season. They've lost 2 of the 3 games they didn't play in, and they were home in all of them. Favorites. Okay? I know that they got the win against Houston, so that then is perfect for me. They stepped up one game. They don't step up the next game. Expect Dallas to win that game tonight. I really do. This number is way too close to what a healthy Bucks team was laying against basically the same Mavericks group. So I really like that spot tonight there for Dallas. So just quickly, again, Mavs +2, Hornets +13, Philly -2.5, terrible number. Wake Forest +20.5, under 132.5 Houston. Kansas, up next, we are talking to Adam Kaplan, NFL Insider. Combine takeaways. Cincinnati and T. Higgins. Eagles released Darius Slay as well, a little under the radar. All stuff that we'll get into with Adam Kaplan next, right here on a Monday night.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we are live right here on Game Time Decisions. The games are on, but soon we will be getting into these NFL draft props. There's a lot of information. There's stuff that's going to move these markets, so we don't want to lose sight of the NFL. That's why I have NFL insider Adam Kaplan here on this Monday night. Cap, great to talk to you. Kind of the first time, I think, post-Super Bowl. I've actually had the chance to talk to you, so should I just kind of talk about how great the Eagles are? I don't think I will. I will talk about their decision, though, to move on from Darius Slay. The Eagles feel like one of those teams that everybody around the league is watching, and we saw some of the combine chatter was linking them to Myles Garrett. I'm just wondering right now if you kind of take the temperature of what Philly and their offseason could look like.
All right, so Kevin, let's start with Eagles, who you mentioned, the Super Bowl champion. So they've informed Darius Slay for the second time in 3 years that he's going to be released. The last time they did it, they didn't release him. About 5 hours after they told him, and Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, they were going to release him, they called him back and said, hey, hang on here. And they did a 180. They let C.J. Gardner-Johnson go. He was a free agent. He signed with the Lions, and he would come back, as you know, 2 years later. But this one seems to be real, from what I understand. They've informed Slay again that he's going to be released. And it's not a cap issue. It's nothing to do with a cap. It's called cash justification. He was set to earn $16 million in total. That's just way too much for the oldest starting corner in the National Football League, the oldest out of 64 starting corners. Now, they've left the door open for a potential return later on down the road if something would happen. If they don't get their guy in free agency or trade for one or draft a guy, then they would revisit it. And by then, Darius Slay, who still wants to play, by the way, and he wants to go to a contender, he may have a job by then. But the bottom line is this opens up a hole. Now, I know you're a big Eagles fan. You should know this. Cooper DeJean, who was outstanding as a nickel defender, was drafted to play outside corner. So he would be the first choice. If they decide to keep him in that dynamic nickel role, they'll look towards free agency. So you're looking at a street free agent and an unrestricted free agent. The best guy is DJ Reed. The rest of them, Kevin, are sort of what we call mid-level free agents, but you also have the potential of the trade market. As you know, Howie Roseman, the most aggressive general manager in the National Football League by far. He's never been shy, and usually when he makes trades, he gets them right. Then the other thing is they could look at the corner market. Now, in the draft, the cornerback group, what I'm told is it's good, not great, but it's a good group at corners should the Eagles decide not to address the position in free agency.
So you mentioned it's a good corner group. It is not viewed that way when we talk about the quarterbacks, and it feels as if the combine didn't really change that at all. We know Cam Ward's at the top. We'll get to that. But at this point in time, do we think, because it's still such an important position, a guy like Shedeur Sanders, a guy like Jackson Dart, these guys can expect to go in that top 10, or they're going to be fallers maybe out of the first round?
All right, Shedeur Sanders, Kevin, will go in the first round. Jackson Dart, he has had an impressive offseason, kind of like Bo Nix last year. Bo Nix was thought to be a mid-second round pick headed into the Senior Bowl last year. He got NFL people looking at him. He did well there. Went to the combine, private workouts. Everything propelled him to go in the first round to the Broncos. Now, looking at this situation with Jackson Dart, excellent Senior Bowl week. I was there. He looked pretty good. Combine, everything I'm told went well for him. He's helped himself. He's a top 40 pick, potentially to go somewhere in the 20s. And as we know, Kevin, the draft, the one position that gets pushed up significantly is quarterback position, because when you don't have one, like the Broncos did last year when they made the decision to part ways with Russell Wilson, you're looking for one. And that is the situation at quarterback right now. Cam Ward, as I've been telling people since early January, is by far the best quarterback for this draft. It's Cam Ward, Kevin, and everybody else, and that people need to understand that. So, yeah, Cam Ward, the question is, does he go 1? Does he go 2 to the Cleveland? Does he go to the Giants? I don't see him getting past the Giants.
The conversation around Cam Ward now feels, will the team be trading up for him? Right. We've heard New Orleans is interviewing him. 9-1 would be quite the climb. Even, a team like the Jets from 7-1 would be quite the climb, especially with teams at 2 and 3, Cleveland and New York, as you mentioned, interested. At this point in time, Cap, are you expecting Tennessee to deal, which is interesting because many view them as a quarterback-needy team in their own right?
Yeah, in fact, if you're their new front office, you're hoping you never have the first pick overall again, because if you do, that means you failed at the quarterback position. So, look, it's real simple. If they stay at 1, it's Abdul Carter or Cam Ward. Those are the picks. When you look at Abdul Carter now, Kevin, this was a huge story last week. Boy, this stress reaction situation, and by the way, that's a precursor potentially to a broken foot. Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, he put it out there that all the medical information he's received would pass him for physicals, Abdul Carter, and he does not need surgery. That's good. But as I told Pharrell last Thursday, that's a story I'm working on. I'll be querying a lot of those teams in the top 10. I want to know where they're at with this situation, because Abdul Carter is the best player available for this draft. He could absolutely go number 1 still to the Titans. Now, the Titans have made it clear they're listening. They're open to trading down. Other teams have told me this. It's very clear that they are very open to trading down, because it's not just the quarterback position. Kevin, when you build a football team, you need what we call blue chip players. They don't have enough of them. That's why they're a really bad football team, and they need more draft picks. It's not a cap space issue. It's not cap space. It's a talent issue with the Tennessee Titans.
The Abdul Carter situation, Cap, and everyone then should make sure they keep their eyes peeled. For me was, again, what's the worst case for Abdul Carter draft-wise? I mean, truly, what is the furthest he could possibly fall for not having a pro day and having surgery? I mean, you want to get crazy? Philly wouldn't let him fall out of the first round. I mean, it's
no,
right. So I am surprised that he is being encouraged to go through with this, and then I fear for the team that drafts him, Cap. Then all of a sudden, come, whatever it may be, June. Go, you know what? You probably should get surgery. I don't know. It feels like there's putting way too much emphasis on a pro day for a player who doesn't need a pro day, Cap. We all know what he is.
I agree. But I would say, and I would agree with you, Kevin. Let the tape stand. The thing is, you have to be comfortable if you're an NFL general manager, because when you select a guy in the top 10, you're almost certainly a bad football team, and this guy is a phenomenal football player. He's a game changer. You have to be comfortable with what your medical staff tells you. Now, I will tell you that medical staffs are generally very conservative, and they have to be absolutely sure that he's going to be fine going forward. Now, even if he had the surgery, you're looking at somewhere between 10 and 12 weeks recovery. He's still going to play this season. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
But you also want to look at his medicals. Remember, he also had a shoulder issue, which is going to be fine. But you just have to be comfortable that there are not going to be problems down the road. I think that's what you're hinting at. And I would agree with it. You cannot have that when you're a bad football team. You got to make sure that he's going to be ready for the season and that you're not going to have any complications.
Yeah, and again, NFL insider Adam Kaplan joining us here. Cap, we'll end it on this, and I'm sure we'll check in many times throughout this offseason. Aaron Rodgers, Giants, is this feeling inevitable right now?
Well, I wouldn't call it inevitable. The problem with the Giants, it's a lot. It's like a lot of these teams. They just don't know where they're going at quarterback. And Joe Shane, the general manager, is obviously he's picking players to keep his job here. There's no question. The job's on the line here. And he's desperate to get something going. But they've got to get a young developmental quarterback. That's got to happen in this draft.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch how all of those dominoes fall. And, of course, Adam Kaplan will be helping us out here on SportsGrid throughout that process. We'll be right back here. It's Game Time Decisions.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh,
Two guys that can do it all.
too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top three teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number one, do they fix their defensive problems? And two, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we are back with you right here on Game Time Decisions, and we're going to get back into the NHL slate. Two later games to break down. Joe Madden going to help us do that here tonight. Joe, good as always to have you stop by. Let me get right to the Toronto-San Jose game so people have time to tail any action that you have for the Maple Leafs, who are a very big home favorite going up against the Sharks.
Yeah, huge home favorite here in the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is the perfect recipe for the Leafs to let their fans down. These are the games that the Toronto Maple Leafs end up losing. Now, the San Jose Sharks, though, they're a hard team to put your money on. They've lost their last 8 games out there. That Saturday loss was a 5-3 to the Ottawa Senators. And we've got a Leafs team that has been rolling hot. They've won their last 5. I would be looking here at playing the Sharks in some capacity because we look at the Leafs, they're on their second night of a back-to-back. They're home off a 4-game road trip. And then on Wednesday, they have Vegas back out on the road. So this is a one-off home game. I'm looking for the Sharks to be able to score on Stallars tonight. The last time Stallars faced the Sharks, he did allow 3 goals on 22 shots. So looking at the Sharks, team total over 2.5 goals coming in at plus 130. Now, if you don't want to touch that, you can look at that first period over 1.5 goals. That's coming in juicy at minus 146, but you could also look at both teams to score at plus 158. I'm taking Celebrini here tonight for 2+ points. For the Sharks, he's coming in at plus 360, and I do think you can look at Tyler Toffoli or Will Smith tonight for the points or the goal. The goal for Toffoli and the point for Will Smith, the point is at plus 128 for him. I think both ways are a good way to look, Kevin.
All right, so a lot of potential action in that spot there tonight. Joe, we have a few games that are live right now. Was there anything that you were looking at pregame in one of these 4 that you were really interested in and maybe still that an in-game chance for someone to follow?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Washington Capitals and the Ottawa Senators, this game, I did expect Ottawa to stay under their team total of 2.5. Now, this might have adjusted right now. I'm not seeing a line for it currently on FanDuel. It's locked up, but I would look at the under in their team total. I think they're going to struggle to score in this one. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, I did take the under 1.5 in the first period, so you're going to be too late on that action, but I do think this game has every opportunity of going to overtime. That overtime bet you could still jump in on at plus 350. Now, I'd also be looking in this one for Florida to be able to get the win, but this will have to be a live situation here if Tampa goes up first. We've got minus 156 for the Florida Panthers. It's just too juicy for me at the moment. So wait to get a better price for Florida and the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. This is a deja vu game. We just saw them play in Buffalo. Montreal got the win as the dog. Now, I do think Montreal has every ability to get another win, but I do like the over better. The over 5.5 now, it's not 6.5 as we're eating away in this first period. The over 5.5 coming in at minus 106. And then another thing I like to do, Kevin, is looking at some line mates for their points tonight parlayed together. I took Nick Suzuki as well as Cole Caulfield for their points parlayed together at minus 103.
All right, so some different looks then when we talk about what's going on right now in those games, Montreal, Buffalo. Late night, Joe, we have Chicago and LA, and I want us to start by focusing in on Bedard because I'm a little surprised. Maybe there's something I'm missing here, but Bedard went into the All-Star break playing, relatively speaking. At least he was putting up numbers, right? Maybe there's some advanced metrics that would suggest the kid's a liability. Okay, fine. But he was consistently getting a point, assist, goal, whatever it may be. He has still not put a point on the board since the All-Star break. That is 6 consecutive games, or 5, which might not sound like a lot. That is the most this entire season. I'm a little surprised that Bedard is in this slump right now. Are you?
And so is he, Kevin. I am, you are, he is. You see Connor Bedard out there when he's off the ice and he's frustrated with himself. And I do think this is a nice opportunity to look at Connor Bedard tonight. One thing that has been holding true, he has been getting those shots on goal. And I know the LA Kings are a team that can really limit the ability of opponents to get those shots on them. But Connor Bedard is going to be so hungry to score in this game. You can look at him for 3+ shots on net. That's coming in at plus 142. I do think he is going to get that goal tonight. I think the confidence that he's going to come into this game is going to feel a little bit different. We know this team has Spencer Knight now in net, giving them a little bit of an uplift, thinking that this team might be able to get some wins now under their belt with Spencer Knight. Connor Bedard's going to look excited out there on the ice. The anytime goal coming in at plus 230. You could also look at him for his points tonight. Even though I think Chicago stays under 2.5 goals in this battle with the Kings, it's got to be Connor Bedard coming out nice and strong 49 points on the season. 33 of those have been assists. When we look at his shots on goal, 139 shots on goal, averaging 2.3 shots per game. Look for that goal. Look for those shots tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to follow. Look again for Bedard. So much hype, so much conversation around him. But if you look at it now, he has 8 games before he matches his rookie total. He will need to put up 12 points in the next 8 games to match that. Bedard's supposed to be trending up, not staying level. So I think that's one of the, again, it's not a panic button. No, oh, the kid's a bust. I'm not saying that. But it feels noteworthy to me right now that Connor Bedard was on this, again, fantastic trajectory. And for some reason, the 2 weeks off did not do him any favors, which is becoming clear as day to me. Certainly you see Joe mentioning it there. Perhaps he turns it around, gets on a heater, closes out the season strong. But it's certainly all stuff for us to follow. Joe, I appreciate you stopping by here again. It's a light NHL slate tonight. Tomorrow, we know those Tuesdays always pick up here. We're going to be coming up against the break, though, on SportsGrid. We've got Coach James Young around the corner as well, so make sure you keep it right here. It's Game Time Decisions on a Monday night.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that...
All right, back to the right here on SportsGrid. It was a very, very slow start to the game between Duke and Wake Forest, which is good for us taking the points with Wake because, low scoring, hard to extend. But you kind of also wish you took advantage, right? If Duke's not going to score for the first 4 minutes of the game, you'd like to be winning. You'd like to be winning. Duke had 2 points, 6 minutes and 6.5 minutes in. You're up 4-2. You'd like to be up 8-2. Make a little bit more of a dent there. But good start relatively, I think, for Wake. Decent start for Philly, up 6 right now on Portland. Maxi's got 5 early. Drummond nearly with a double-double in the first quarter, 6 and 7. Golden State right now up on Charlotte there. Steph with 5 points right now. LaMelo hasn't yet to score in this game. Mark Williams doing some of the damage, but again, very early in those games. We've kind of hit some of the headlines on our show tonight. The Aaron Rodgers thing with the Giants, we just haven't gotten into a lot. For me, I'm uninspired by it because I don't think the Giants are in a situation where I understand Giants fans that didn't want Matthew Stafford because they felt like they would be taking a big swing for a quarterback that was not going to get them even remotely close to over the hump. So I get that. I didn't love Stafford to the Giants. But I don't think you need to pivot to Rodgers, right? We spoke to Cap. I understand there's a level of desperation. Okay, that doesn't mean that good moves are about to be made. But what's so odd to me, the Giants have to do something. That's true. That is inarguable. The Giants have to do something. Trading up for the first overall pick and then drafting that quarterback is something. Right? Giants fans, if you draft Cam Ward, will be excited and ready for Cam to play day number 1. If Cam is not ready for that, if you feel in your assessment of the player, it would be in his best interest to not start week 1, 2, 3, you do not need that player to be a guy you're trying to sell people on, we're going to make the playoffs with. That is being illogical. It is being unreasonable. It is just not good decision making, right? Again, I think anyone would agree with that. Why are you bringing in Rodgers? Well, we need somebody. I don't know. So then bring in, people are going to laugh, bring in Carson Wentz. You need somebody? I don't. You need bring back Daniel Jones for nothing. We need somebody. I don't know. Bring in Joe Flacco. If you need somebody, why? What about Aaron Rodgers says you need that? Your priorities are all jumbled up at that point. They are. If you're bringing in Rodgers because you're dead set on, I need to make the playoffs or I'm going to get fired, then you shouldn't be trading up for the first pick. You should be drafting a impact player like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter at 3. And so it's just, you're not trying to do 2 things at once, and that's crazy for the Giants. Again, sometimes you can kind of, walk that tightrope. It seems like the Giants are going to try and do 2 things at once, and neither is going to work out. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't. And then sometimes I'll hear, well, then where's Rodgers going to go? Who cares? How's it? What? That's not, 1, the Giants' problem, and 2, he might be beat. The reason why the Rams became the level of favorites that they became to bring in Aaron Rodgers is because that was a perfect situation for him if Stafford was going to be gone. It didn't break Rodgers' way. Stafford decided to come back. That's where it is. But the Giants don't have to fall on that sword for him. Time will tell. We're going to have Coach James Young join us next year, get his thoughts on the early beginnings of this Duke-Wake Forest game, which looks like a rock fight in Houston, Kansas later tonight.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they've lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Big updates around tonight's OKC-Houston game. Rockets, injuries. No Amen Thompson. No Dylan Brooks. No Alperen Şengün. Houston play yesterday? What do we got here? What's going on right now? Why is Houston without all of the guys? That kind of throws a real shift into that game. No, they didn't play yesterday. That's interesting. Oh, you know what it is? Huh. My guess is they play tomorrow at Indy. And this is a Rockets team that, by the way, is now in a dogfight when we talk about seeding. Punt the OKC game. We're not beating them. Let's go beat Indy. By the way, that's a team that has lost on the road 6 straight. Make it 7 now with the OKC game probably. Interesting. You might have heard that. Yup, that's our guy. That's Coach James Young, JY in a mix. Coach, great to have you, man. Same read for you. Kind of the Rockets just seeding. Rockets are in a, again, you know, look, they're not. I feel like it is more likely they end up in the play-in than the Memphis-Denver Lakers group that's above them. Or do you feel Houston is kind of safe?
I don't think. I mean, that whole Western Conference I think they should be safe because they do have 5 games ahead in the loss column over everyone else. But it's after that. It's Clippers, Golden State, Minnesota, Sacramento, Dallas. Those 5 teams fighting for where they're going to get seeded. I'm pretty much done with Phoenix. When they got blown up by 20 points last night, Kevin, at home, I officially rid off and said goodbye to the Suns. And probably goodbye to Kevin Durant as a Phoenix Sun because they're going to have to move him this offseason with the lack of draft capital that they have.
So the Durant situation, what Well, hold on. Let me just check something quick because I don't want to. Coach, you have anything in Miami, Washington tonight?
No, I do not.
Okay.
A lot of my stuff kind of got blown up already because of Paul George. I did take the plus of points with Portland tonight, but that just flipped with the injury after I made my play. And then obviously, that affected Paul George, who I like to go over tonight because of the fact of Portland on a back-to-back. So, yeah, a lot of my stuff kind of got blown up. I did like Golden State to go over 120.5. I think that they're scoring the ball really well. Charlotte not stopping anybody. I know you said you like the points.
Yeah.
I can see that. I just see a ton of points being scored by Golden State tonight.
Yeah, look, it makes a lot of sense. I think for me, I'm looking to cover. I'm not looking for them to pull off an outright victory. I'm hoping 13 is a tick too many. We'll see. They're down 10 right now, but they were just down 13. So, look, when you grab 13, you're hoping that you're never not covering in the first quarter. We were pushing at one point, not great, but again, not all hope lost. We'll reset some of the picks of Coach. But, Jay White, you did just get to something that I think is really interesting, is Phoenix and where they are. And they are cooked, make no mistake about it. They're cooked in a way, though, that it's very hard for me to remember. We had a report the other day come out that Mike Budenholzer told Devin Booker to tone it down. Take that, add it on top of Nurkic while being on the roster talking about having zero relationship with Coach Bud. I don't know if you're going to disagree. Mike Budenholzer, we give out Coach of the Year. Mike Budenholzer, runaway favorite, worst Coach of the Year. I don't know how anyone could defend. Look, we can blame it on guys. Health, that's fine. They are 5 games under 500. I think and when you look at the relationships that are not there, I feel like Bud has ran this thing into the ground.
Torpedoed it. I mean, torpedoed it. And here's the thing, folks. If they fire Bud, they're going to have 4 coaches in 4 years, right?
Yep.
Monty, Vogel, right? Bud, and then the 4th coach. So now, if you're Matt Ishbia, who sold all your draft picks like a drunken sailor, if you're a free agent, even like a vet, are you going to a team that's going to maybe be on our 4th coach in 4 years? I mean, that's just like when Steinbrenner took over in the 80s, was firing Billy Martin every other year. Like, it just becomes too much. So they have to get it under control. But to me, Kevin, you have to trade Durant, get what you can, get picks, and see what you can do about Bradley Beal. I mean, he's got a no-trade clause, worst contract in the league. They got to start over with Devin Booker, and Bud ain't it.
But I don't know. They started out 8-1, and I know KD gets injured, and that hurts things. There's still talent on the roster. Before this season, the Suns won. I think they 63% of their games that KD played in. This year, it's 54%. That's a considerable drop off, and they shouldn't be this bad just because Durant's missing games. You still have Devin Booker. People are obsessed with the Lakers' lack of center position. Yusuf Nurkic would start on the Lakers probably. The Suns running Nurkic out of town was not good. They needed Nurkic. So I just, to me, where I think the Budenholzer stuff is so bad, I'm not sure Devin Booker will be willing to stick around. We all know Kevin Durant's going to get traded, which, by the way, super weird. Super weird that we just all know KD, not even really demanding it, will be dealt away from this team. If I'm Durant, the second I hit 65 games, I'm done for the year. No more reason. I mean, he might as well shut. I don't know if Durant's making an all-NBA anything, so he'll probably make third team, whatever, but who cares at this point? You made $1 billion of them, first ballot Hall of Famer. What's it matter? KD should probably just rest up for next season. That's not who he is. But this being that, I now just wonder if this got so messy, Devin Booker being traded this offseason, coaches on the board.
Listen, Kevin, Luka got traded. So at this point, right, Kevin, anything's possible. Right now, what is going to give you a bigger return? obviously it's going to be Devin Booker, right?
Yeah.
Devin Booker is going to give you a far greater return, just simply put, because of the fact that Kevin Durant is at age, I think, 36 right now. So that is an issue. And then you look at the other side of Devin Booker, and Devin Booker being, what is Devin Booker? I think 30, 26, 28. So, I mean, if you want to get the most back, it's them. It's just amazing how this team was up 2-0 on Milwaukee. Monty Williams forgot to coach. They have been literally on a tailspin since then. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, who they bring in. They just keep going backwards. It's actually stunning.
Yeah, there's we can relitigate so much of it. This is a basketball team that got eliminated by a Denver Nuggets group that won the NBA championship, but within that series did lose both Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton to injury. And they decided to make the move to bring in Bradley Beal, which a lot of people didn't like at the time, and that's fine. But it is a move that should have not ruined them in any way. And it seemingly did. But again, it didn't ruin them last year, right? They were fine last year. They were favored to beat Minnesota in that series. They owned Minnesota in the regular season. And then that was a disaster. Again, like, people look at Matt Ishbia like he's crazy. Here are the list of people that knew Monty Williams did a bad job in Phoenix. Me, Coach, Matt Ishbia. You know how we know we're right? Look at Detroit. So he was right to get rid of Monty. Well, then what's he getting rid of Frank Vogel for? I don't know. And Frank Vogel's, look, okay, maybe shouldn't have got rid of Frank, but there was a tear there. But again, I think Coach is right. Getting rid of Bud now, it just looks like chaos. We'll get more into tonight's slate. Coach James Young going to stick around. We're with you right here on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back with you right here. I'm just going to say this again. You guys know that I can, hear the crew. Someone in the back might have, like either bet way too much money on the first basket score in Miami, Washington, or I don't know what's going on, because there was a scream and I can't figure out what it possibly could be. But nevertheless, we're here with you on Game Time. Let's leave it alone. Sometimes we pull back the curtain here. Coach James Young, JY, you and I, along with Joe Lisi, got things going this weekend, betting above the rim, college basketball today. A lot of fun. So many different things that we can kind of pull away from this weekend of college basketball. One of the things we saw was Duke just continue to slaughter. Guess who's up double digits again? That's Duke. We saw Houston not cover, and part of the reason I thought that would happen is getting prepared for tonight's game. So let's start there. What do you like tonight? Houston, Kansas, 9.5-point favorite for the home team.
Under. There's no way in hell after 92-86 overtime that this game is going over. You have two of the top 6 teams, I do believe, in defensive efficiency in the country. And Houston, because it's going to go to Fort Allen, I think it's at Houston. Remember last year, Houston beat by 30 in their own building. I think this game gets down to a crawl. I think this is going to be a rock fight. I think I'm definitely going under 132.5. I wouldn't be shocked if this game goes 125.
Yeah, guess what, Coach? You and I feel like all the time are on opposite sides. Not tonight. Not tonight. I agree with you. I think this is an under game here. Sometimes with this Houston team, you're just like, ooh, that team's going to struggle to score. It feels like Kansas will have 15, 4 minutes left. By the way, do you know that was true of BYU in the first half, and they somehow scored 52 second-half points against West Virginia? I lost that team total under. You can tell I'm clearly over it and not annoyed whatsoever. Although I got to say, that beat, not as bad as the one Coach took. You might say if you need overtime to hit your total, that's not a bad beat. Wrong, you don't bet college enough. It feels like any given game goes overtime, but more so than that, if all you need is, Johnny on the spot to not hit a 40-foot pull-up bang and you're going to OT, you should be going to OT. Instead, 79-76.
I was counting my money.
Rightfully so.
I was counting my money, and then I had to rip up the ticket.
But, Coach, what was your biggest takeaway from that game with Tennessee getting that win against Alabama?
A big win for them, and honestly, if you really peel back and look at the way they played, it was a raucous environment, and it shows that maybe they could make a run. It could be interesting because I do think with that win, I think they're playing themselves. Now they just past Alabama based on that NCAA tournament of maybe getting the 1 seed. I saw that, the guard play was really, really good. Ziegler, obviously 15, 18, and 11 between the 3 guards. And I just thought that you saw them take a team in Alabama that usually shoots about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, over 50% of the shots from 3, and they had them only take 24 threes out of 60 attempts. They ran them off the line.
Yeah.
Ran them off the line. And that may be the thing. And that's where, Kevin, I disagree with a lot of coaches that do this. If you run me off the line, Kevin, I got to take the pull-up. I got to take the pull-up. And Nato doesn't believe in it. So I'm saying to you, fine, run off the line, I'll meet you at the rim. And that's what they did, and it kind of bothered Alabama to the point where Alabama got out of their game. I thought the game was about tempo pace. Tennessee played it perfectly, but I still had overtime at that point at 148, and I would have easily cashed that ticket in the extra session.
Yeah, you 100% would have, but look, it's sometimes kind of how the breaks fall, and, we know that that's how things work. JY, we also saw a really big result for Auburn. I thought, look, you're going to Rupp. It's going to be a tough test. I felt, though, for Kentucky, the biggest loss of the weekend was not that game, but officially Jackson Robinson done for the year. It feels like, man, it has been such a crazy year for this Kentucky team. You remember they beat Duke in the 3rd game of the year, the overtime win against Gonzaga. They beat Florida at home. swept Tennessee. The expectations have consistently been changing. At one point, it was, hey, hopefully, we're in the tournament with this group, and we'll see where it goes. And then it was, I think we're a Final Four contender. And then I was like, let's see what it looks like when we get healthy. It feels like, again, the expectations, it's Kentucky. We got to go out there, we got to win a game. I don't know how big the expectations are beyond that now for this, year one Mark Pope team coach.
No, I mean, listen, Kevin, I'm going to say it, and this may not make the Kentucky fan base happy. If they make it out of the first weekend of the tournament, it's a success.
Yeah.
It is. And think about this. The shocking part is not the fact that they lost by 16.
Mm-hmm.
But Jedi Broom had 9 points, and you still give up 94.
Yep.
Like, that's the takeaway from there. The fact that they allowed a team with their All-American player of the year candidate to shoot 3 of 9, and the rest of the team shot 26 for 45. Like, are you kidding me? And 12 out of 24 from 3. She let the rest of the team shoot 60% from the floor and over 50% from 3. That was the takeaway. Kentucky's defense is poor, and even when they stop the best player, they let everybody else eat.
Yeah. No, look, it's one of those things, man. Give Auburn a ton of credit. I think for Kentucky, you kind of get pushed back to your preseason expectations. And now it's like, all right, well, what's this offseason going to look like? It's just, it's just one of those things, man. I thought that was a real season changer. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe not. We're going to keep Coach with us. We're going to give you the rest of our action for tonight. Coach has another college pick we didn't get to, and I'll just run through anything that I have as well that hasn't started just yet. So stick right here as we close out Game Time decisions after this break.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Monday night Game Time decisions. Appreciate everybody who stopped by. We still have Coach James Young with us here on a Monday night. I don't want to get lost in something but since Coach is here, I can't help myself. Maybe I'm overreacting and hitting the oh no button. Duke is just rolling Wake. Wake cannot score. JY, John Shire, I feel like is a name we don't hear a lot about when we talk about best coaches in the country. Maybe he just has all the talent, and that's acceptable. I'm just curious, when you watch Duke basketball, especially this season, do you feel like John Shire is a huge part of this? Do you feel like we're looking at one of the very best coaches, in the country? How much of it is a talent thing? I'm curious, man, because it's incredible to me that they get these kids to show up night in and night out and lock in the way that they do.
Kevin, especially defensively, when you have a team that starts, 3 freshmen, and Isaiah Evans is a 4th freshman, he's like your 6th man, and they're dialed in the way they are defensively. See, that's when I know that you can coach. If you can take high school kids and get them to play at a high major Division I level and be one of the top defensive teams in the country, like if you think about top defensive teams in the country, Duke's in the top 3 or 4, right? To me, when I watch half-court basketball, to me, it's Houston, it's St. John's, and it's Duke. It's those 3 teams, how they play. And I keep telling people this, especially with freshmen. The way he's gotten Cooper Flagg to defend is wild. Wild that a guy that's number 1 draft pick defends like this. And the scary thing is this, folks. I took Duke over 82.5 points in the first half. And I was worried. They had 2 points after the first 6 minutes, and they got 40 points, 1 minute left to go in the first half. They're right on pace to go over it.
Yeah, and look, I know people might say I'm hard on Cal. I don't care. Good. He deserves it.
Kevin, whoa. They get blown out over the weekend. And Joey Lenardi still has them in the tournament?
Yeah, but JY, that's not even my point. It's not even my point. Look, and I this is definitely me letting some fandom creep into making the point. It doesn't coat the analysis. A lot of people would get over it. I'm not. Cal would go out there, have these great recruiting classes, not reach his level, and be like, well, what do you want me to do? I've got kids. Shire is out there with all kids, and they are unbelievable. And they will be unbelievable next year when the Boozers get there. It's just, there's a difference, man. And I think Coach is right to bring up, like, the Arkansas stuff. He gets to Arkansas, and he's like, I mean, come on, we're all new. Nobody knows each other. It's like, all right, man. Just a lot of excuses. JY, let's just lock in. Remind people, any bets that you have for the rest of the night that have not started yet, what do you like here rest of the night?
Yeah, I'm looking at UCLA minus 3.5. Listen, I think, Kevin, when you go on the road now in the Pac-12 and you travel east, you're always better game 2. I've seen it as a coach going west where you're awful game 1, you get adjusted to the time zone. UCLA 7-2 against the spread the last 9 games. Northwestern does not beat good teams. UCLA minus 3.5 tonight.
All right, so likes UCLA there. We are on opposite side, Coach, of the Dallas-Sacramento game. I took +2. Did you play Kings money line? Maybe we can middle it.
Yeah.
Why not? I did it the other night with.
I did go Kings money line. 2 other bets I have props. If you're looking at it, John Morant over his rebounds plus assists at 11.5. You go against the Rockets, Hawks team, go 26 most points. Rebounds plus assists, and Asor Thompson over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. I know he's missed it a couple of times, but it's been by the hook. More playing time with Tobias Harris out. Jazz stink. Asor does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, look, I'll just say this. For me, Sabonis out. I think it's going to be really tough for them. And if you look at the upcoming stretch of games, let's say he's out next 6 games at Dallas tonight, at Denver, home against the Spurs, at the Clippers, home against the Knicks, at the Warriors, and then it's a back-to-back at Phoenix, Memphis, Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, Boston, OKC, my oh my. That's not an easy run at it for Sacramento. Now, Sabonis is not supposed to miss that much time, but it's a hamstring, and those can be tricky. This could be a team that I look to fade for a little bit. And then Coach and I in lockstep tonight under in the Houston Kansas game, we'll see if Wake Forest can hang, man, as they're down 13 right now to Duke at the break. Coach, appreciate it. Everybody who stopped by here tonight, appreciate it. We'll see you right back tomorrow on Sports Grid.